I will give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone for teaching me the truth and sincerity. Salutation to the hopeful elect that spread throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so the title of this lesson will be ready to give up everything for this truth's sake. Be ready to give up everything for this truth's sake, right? There's a lot of things happening around this world, that you need to be aware of, especially when you're in this truth, because this is going to strongly, they're going to come against this truth, and they're going to affect you and your household. So you have to be mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared. Um, because if you've been watching, they talking about, especially if you're in the U.S., they're talking about, the Fed now system, and getting those out and introducing that Fed now system to different banks across America. Then you have the riots in France, Belgium, and Switzerland. Um, you have Kurama being implemented in some area of the country. So these are big, big things you gotta be, um, you gotta take note of, and be spiritually prepared. Um, and don't let this get you unaware, right? But I'm gonna read a precept, and then I'm going to show a clip. So this 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 7, and it reads, "For we brought nothing into this world, and searching we can carry nothing out." Correct. So we brought nothing into this world. So anything that you got, worldly possession, money, cars, phone, houses, business, you brought nothing into this world. So it's best to just give it up, right? It's not worth for this truth. Nothing on this world is worth more than this truth, and getting that kind of life in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so I'm going to show a clip, and I hope this lesson will be edifying.
Come B and C, mate. Yeah. It's like some mad female.
All right, and this will be used for education and teaching purposes. And this video is from GMS Reap from the headlines, and the title "Isolation Quarantine Camps Being Built." I think this is in the UK.
I can't, innit? Fucking crazy place. Fucking crazy place.
All right. So as you said, um, prophesied that the devil is going to come down and have a great wrath, right? Because his time is short, roughly paraphrasing. So you see these cities being built, right? In the UK, these 5 minute cities ultimately is going to be for those who come against the government and who refuse to go with the agenda that this government pushing. Either it can be the Michael C. Hub, you know, anything that is going against the government and go or going against this government and trying to fight the beast system. this is what these camps are for, you know. So, you know, you gotta be spiritually prepared. You gotta, you know, be how you have a fight. You have to fight. You have to have you know, you gotta come against this because you know I know there are FEMA camps all in America that's built for this very purpose. You know, all right, and Mark 4:19. Book of Mark chapter 4 verse 19. In the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of every other thing enter in, choke the word, and it become fruitful. So that's ultimately going back to, you know, the people who, you know, that get this truth and, you know, and understand the truth, and, you know, they know that they are Israelite, and they know, you know, the names of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, but they have their worldly possessions, you know, they have their riches. They're too concerned about their riches and about their, you know, job and by their, you know, luxury that they have, that, you know, they can't consider, you know, teaching the word, or, you know, just doing the things, you know, and just giving up those riches for the word. So, you know, their riches ultimately choke the word, right? So their riches, you know, was more than the word, right? So they wasn't able to, you know, to you know, preach the word, and it become, you know, like nothing, right? The Jews become like nothing because they refuse to give up their riches for this word, right? I'm gonna show another clip. So this is human microchip evolution. So this is a Kratma.
The city of Lund in southern Sweden dates back to medieval times. Over the centuries, it's witnessed plenty of change, but now there's a whole new sort of evolution going on. I'm here to meet some of the thousands of people in the country who are adapting their own bodies, who are inserting microchips under their skin. It means they may never have to carry a house key, train ticket, or bank card ever again. This is a microchipping party. Hannah's getting an electronic chip implanted into her hand. She believes one day we'll all be chipped like her. So congratulations, Hannah.
Thank you.
You've been chipped.
Yes, I have.
How does it feel?
Feels good. I'm excited to see what I'll be able to do now.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you can feel it there. I feel like this is the future. The next big thing that's gonna happen. Happy Cyborg's birthday.
Happy cyborg birthday to you. Congratulations. But is this sci-fi fantasy or practicality? I want to know why anyone would want to do this. For this teenager, microchips, it seems, are in her DNA.
She's my daughter, and I'm the father.
So you're a microchip family?
We will become one now, then.
Magnus and his daughter Felicia have come here together tonight because they believe this is the future. You're going to have an upgraded dad.
As they say, it was good being a human, but being a cyborg is better. Didn't feel a thing.
It's a quick, simple procedure with potentially huge significance. So you're officially part machine. How does it feel?
This is awesome. How cool is that? Good job.
This national rail company has taken microchipping on board with 2,500 passengers signing up to use their chip instead of a paper ticket. I've come to the capital, Stockholm, the epicenter of this tech revolution. At this shared office, hundreds of the workers have been microchipped, so no need for a security pass to get in. Per has had his chip for 3 years.
So I take my chip and open the door.
It means he can buy a drink without cash or a card, but for him, it's about much more than practicality.
So, so like yeah. So as you've seen it in the TikTok, that you know that charagma that is being used, is going to be gonna give you the ability to and you see her getting it in her left hand between her um thumb and index finger, that that charagma is going to be used to when you're um using for when you're going to the vending machine. You get something from the vending machine, car keys, house keys, bus tickets. Um, so basically, so this is why I think I mentioned in my last video that they were having a outage, or like plans for outage. Ultimately, that power outage is going to be used to get these stores and these businesses set up for the Karakma, right? Where the um, different things that you get, like your sodas and different stuff from, is going to be all locked, and you're going to need a Karakma to essentially open it, right, to get your products or your items. So I'm gonna go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And it reads, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So as you saw in that TikTok, you had all types of manner of people. You have, I believe, rich people getting it. You had, you know, middle class people getting it. So essentially, it doesn't matter what type of social class you're in, or your age. This microchip, this crock one, ultimately is going to be used to you know to buy and sell, essentially buy and sell. All right, so we're gonna move on with the lesson. Luke 21:34. Luke 21:34. There he is, and take heed to yourselves, as at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. So right, and essentially, it's talking about the the um the tribulation, Jacob trouble, right, and the implementation of the micro sea help, and the famine of the famine of the famine, right. Don't be too, don't try to worry about making money, or getting the next car, or um try to make it, or trying to be somebody in this world, because ultimately, all this is going to come crashing down, right, when they talking about when they introduce that Michael C. Hill, right. So yeah. So I'm going. So the definition of surfeiting: the giddiness and headache caused by drinking wine to assist. To, so basically, trying to like overly basically going to overly indulge in the cares of this life, right? Or trying to like become somebody, trying to become somebody in this world, right? Don't be overly indulged about the cares of this world, right? Um, you know, I'm not saying don't take care of your don't take care of your household, but you got to do that, right? But don't be trying to be somebody in this world, basically. And as you read in verse 35, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. So, it's going to come, YAHAWASHI, going to come as a thief in the night, right? So, quickly, right? 36th verse. Watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. All right, so we had to watch and pray, and that's what we're doing. We're watching and praying. When we see something, when we see big prophecies happening, when we see something big happening, that is prophesied, we will speak on it, right? So that's what we're doing. Matthew. Matthew chapter 19, verse 29, and it reads, and everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren or sister or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake, and shall receive an hundredfold and shall inherit everlasting life. So it's as you see, it's prophesied that when you forsake your brethren or your sister or your father or your mother or your children or your lands or your business or your cars, you will see a hundredfold. You get more, and everything in the kingdom is way better than everything on this earth. Everything in this kingdom, it will not compare. Everything on this earth, it does not even compare to things in the kingdom. Everything in heaven is billions, trillion more advanced than anything of this kingdom. I mean, anything of this world. Anything on this earth, because everything on this world either it get broken down, it doesn't last, everything part on this earth have a, going to cars is or have a lifespan for probably about 10, 15, or 20 years, then it just it just dies down or something happens because everything on this earth is temporary. It won't last forever, right? you know and this is why you need to like this is why they keep making more stuff, right? Because everything's temporary. It won't last forever. It's ever changing. But when you're in the kingdom of heaven, everything will last forever. Nothing won't be changing. You won't need to worry about needing to eat or needing to go somewhere or needing to wear clothes, because everything you have everything you need. In the kingdom of heaven, you have an abundance of what you ever thought you wouldn't have on this earth. Some people on this earth have a lot of wives or have a lot of kids, but in the earth in the kingdom you're gonna have more and more of that. You're gonna have more. You gonna this what you should receive a hundredfold means. You're gonna receive. You're gonna have more wives. You have more children. You gonna have more land. Um, is written rough and paraphrase in my father kingdom there are many mansions, right? So you gonna have that's what they're going to. You have more lands, right? You gonna have you're gonna be going to different, planets. You know, this is what we're looking for, and this is what we are, you know, laboring for. All right. It's like, yeah. This is James 4:4, chapter 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers, ye adulterers and adulterers, you know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with is Sakya. Ye ye adulterers and adulteresses, ye know ye that the friendship of the world is in enmity with the Messiah. Whosoever therefore should be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High. So that going back to the ones that don't want to give up everything for this truth, they don't want to give up their status for this truth sake, and and when they do that, they not knowing, but they are enemies with the Messiah, and they ultimately gonna be destroyed, right? Because they refuse to repent, you know, they refuse to heed the calling of YAHAWASHI. So, ultimately they're gonna lead to their destruction, their demise, right? Matthew 24. And this is titled Signs of Hashiach, perilous times. Perilous times, so ultimately going back to, when the third woe hit, when the micro C health is being implemented, the Karagma, when famine of the word, famine of food and bread is, being pestilence, violence increasing, this is what perilous times is talking about. Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Right. So there's gonna be great tribulation. There's gonna be a lot of pestilence. You know, ICBMs. Famine of the word, famine of food. Karagma being implemented. There's gonna be a lot of violence. And that gonna compare to the days of Noah, the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. This what is gonna be happening. It's gonna be the final blow, right? It's gonna be the final blow to this wicked kingdom, right? And there will never be a kingdom after this kingdom fall. There will never be a kingdom after this kingdom, right? The next kingdom that's gonna be ruling is the kingdom of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel. The so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American. The um, Haitians, the Cubans, Benjamites, all those who have our different lands that we'll be ruling in, um, and also we'll be you know under King David, in the 144,000 that will be governing the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Be the governors of the 12 tribes of Israel. So you know that's something you need to really look out for. That's something you need to hope for, that you're the elect. Um, so as you read down the 22 verse, and except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So this is why, you see a lot of, things happening. You see this, things speeding up. You see these cities being built. You see, people that's Kragma being implemented because the days are being shortened, right? Everything's speeding up for your lexic, right? Because ultimately if it don't shorten, everything keep going how it is, no flesh will be saved, right? There won't be no elect, basically. That will need to be saved. All right. Right. And that what you see in that TikTok, ultimately, the crime has already been implemented in some countries, but the big implementation is going to happen, in Babylon. Go back to Luke chapter, verse 9, chapter 9. Um, Luke chapter 9, verse 26. For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, and of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory and his Father's and of his holy angels. So if you're teaching this word, you're following this word, and you get confronted, about this word, and you deny, your affiliation with this word, then you're basically saying you're ashamed of the Most High, you're ashamed of His word. So you have to stand on your ground, right? Basically, you have to stand on your ground. You have to strongly proclaim the words of Yahawah Bashar, right? In the names of Yahawah Bashar, right? You have to come against, and ultimately, it also going to when you take a karagma, or try to be try to be in E agenda, or be in EB system. You're ashamed of, if you do that, you are ashamed of the Messiah, right? Yahweh Shah. All right. And I'm going to close it here with in Matthews. I'm going to close it. Got two more. I'm going to close it. Matthew chapter 10, verse 22, and it reads, And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So, some of the elect will be martyrs for this truth, that just because of that how, that how we're all set up. But if you're doing to the end, if you're elect, and if you're a martyr, you have to, get your head chopped off, or whatever you got to do, for this church, then if you do it to the end, you'll be saved, right? So, that's that's something, that what soldiers, that's what when you're defending the truth, you putting your lives and your livelihood at risk for this truth, right? But you're blessed at the end of the day. You're blessed that we're being saved. When you're saved, you're blessed. As I might read in Matthew chapter 5, verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, right? So when you're being persecuted for righteousness' sake, you're ultimately being mocked, right? You're being made fun of. You might get your head chopped off, whatever. For righteousness' sake, right? But for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So when you're for theirs in the kingdom of heaven, meaning that you're gonna get that crown of life. You're gonna receive 100-fold, right? 11th verse. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manners of evil against you falsely for my sake. So again, they will speak all types of evil of you, right? They might come up with some random rumor about you, or just different things, right? That because ultimately it's written they hated they hated Yahweh Shah before they hated um actually I'm about to get it in John the 15th chapter, and it's worth paraphrasing. They hated the world hated me. The world hated you. You you know that it hated me before it hated you. So the world hated the truth, right? The words of YAHAWASHI. So he's gonna because you is of this truth and you is of YAHAWASHI. The world is gonna hate you for this truth. Um, shall revile to reproach, um, to upbraid, cast, you know, you know, chide, taunt, chatter, which means to scold, because you have some people who say that some to Israel, they're mentally, you know, e how has brainwashed our people to the point that they believe that the so-called Jesus would come down on this earth and save them, right? Our people are so brainwashed that that they can't get this word, even they can understand, they can come back to their heritage, but ultimately it's because Yahweh Shai didn't want them to receive it, right? Because it's written that two-thirds of Israel will be cut off and die, right? So they just plan their lot, basically. That they just plan their road in Yahweh Shai movie. But the elect, but this truth is really only for the elect, right? Because the elect is the only ones that are going to be waking up and receive this truth, right? The 12th verse: rejoice and being seated, being seated, exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they for prophets which were before you. So right, just like in the days of old, when the prophets have been persecuted, they also going to persecute us. We're the teachers of the truth of the Yahweh. Um, so again, going back to great, we're gonna receive 100-fold. We'll be saved. We will have great treasures in heaven. We're building up treasure in heaven, right? So great reward in heaven. So we have treasure waiting for us in heaven. So just keep enduring to the end. As it written, those who endure, ye that endure to the end, saints shall be saved. Roughly paraphrasing. So, all right, we're going to call it here. Again, the title: "Be ready to give up everything for this truth's sake." All right, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHSHA, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Till the next time, I want to say Shalom.